All right, folks, so I want to play this piece of video. Obviously, the International Longshoremen's Association went on strike today. Some ports are already closed. Ships are already having to dock off of port because they can't unload their cargo. Here is a video that came out yesterday of the president, Harold Daggett, basically setting up how this is going to go and why.
But today's world, it's changing into the future. They're not making millions no more. They're making billions. And they're spending it fast as they make it. I want a piece of that for my men, because when they made their most money was during COVID. When my men had to go to work on those piers every single day, when everybody stayed home and went to work. Not my men. They died out there with the virus. We all got sick with the virus. We kept them going. From Canada to Maine to Texas, Great Lakes, Puerto Rico, now the Bahamas, everybody went to work during COVID. Nobody stayed home. Well, I want to be compensated for that. I'm not asking for the world. They know what I want. They know what I want. And if they don't, well, then I have to go into the street and we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve. These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are gonna go to work on that pier? It's gonna cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're gonna be like this. Who's gonna win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
There you go. Yeah. That's fire. That shit is great. That's the most inspiring thing I've seen all year, just about.
Fucking A.
So
This
much
guy
so.
should be running for president.
I made a team in a tribute to him, which I was pretty proud of. Nice capitalist system you got here. Be a shame if someone shut it down.
That's
Yeah.
the way you do it, man.
That's the way you do it. The way you do it is, I want to get paid. Hey, we worked during COVID. Everybody else got to stay home. I know how much product came in. I know how much money the company made. We want a piece of that now. Don't forget, they couldn't negotiate it back then because the last time they negotiated this contract was 2018. So they had to live with that. And that's part of why you need a new contract that's on good terms, because you don't know what the fuck's going to happen, where you're going to get screwed, right? And now with the new technology, they're afraid that automation is going to replace them. And what I love about this guy is, look, we know you have the money. We want a piece of the action. If we do not get it, we are not working. If we don't work, pretty soon, nobody's going to work. And we are okay with that. I love the end of that. I'll cripple you. I'll cripple you. He's leaning into it. You want to pay? You want to say I'm the bad guy? Fine. I don't care. You could think I'm the bad guy if you want.
You'll win here in the long run. You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means.
I mean, that's just badass.
And the point that he's making, because after Reagan basically terrorized the unions, and then Clinton signed NAFTA, the unions have been so broken and poorly led for so long. Yeah, man. People, it's been generations since people have seen the kind of strike that can cripple the country.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's why he's saying, he's been around long enough to remember that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. And to just lean into that, to not be afraid of that, to actually use that as leverage, to recognize that gives you more power, not less. The fact that this is happening during a campaign season gives him more power too, because now, the Chamber of Commerce wants Biden to break this up, and the Teamsters are saying, you better not break this up. The fact that they have not endorsed in the race gives them extra leverage to make that demand, because if he fucks them, they could turn around and back Trump, right? And so, that's how this is going to happen. So, folks, there's been a lot of talk about how black-pilled I am. I am realistically pessimistic about the election, but I'm not black-pilled. If you are putting your
they
faith,
say that about me sometimes too.
Sometimes,
that's the same thing I tell them. Like, no, I just don't believe in this.
Right. If you think that either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is going to turn things around for this country, you're black-pilled, motherfucker. Exactly. You're the one who's black-pilled.
Exactly.
I'm not black-pilled. Exactly. That is what is going to change course for this country. I won't say save the country. It's not going to rescue the country. The empire is still crumbling, which is a good thing for the world, by the way. But we can still take care of each other here through actions like this. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Who gives a fuck about the United States as an entity? Who cares? Well, you see every fucking minute of the day, there's more dead children on your phone that you got to scroll through. We're doing that with our money. We're doing that because we are an evil empire. So what, we're supposed to be invested in the perpetuation of that project? Fuck that project. That project can go to hell. We need to take care of ourselves and each other as working people here who happen to live within the walls of the empire, and that's how you do that. That's how you do that. There are different tracks here. You don't have to be invested in preserving the country as the entity it currently is, with the standing in the world that it currently has. That you can relish in the demise of that, while at the same time still care about yourself and your fellow man here, and try and take care of your friends and your families and your neighbors through actions like building mutual aid networks to sort of help each other survive when the shit hits the fan. And part of surviving the shit hitting the fan is this. You need to band together with fellow workers and create demands so that no matter which piece of shit president is in office, you go to that piece of shit president and you say, okay, tens of millions of workers are on strike now. We're not going back to work until you do what's on this piece of paper. That's it. And a lot of those goals will be labor-oriented. Not all of them. I think defund Israel should absolutely be on that list. That's what Russell said in the last segment. You have to create a list of demands that are then non-negotiable once you implement the general strike. So you have to organize a general strike. You have to organize workers in support of massive work stoppages. And simultaneously, you have to formulate a list of demands so that when you have the work stoppages, you present that list of demands to whatever worthless piece of shit is sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and you say, okay, if you want your little country to run, you're going to have to do this. And at that point, who cares who the president is? Because every president needs they need the economy to run. They need the economy, they need it to function.
And those demands we've talked about this with the Grand Central demonstration. That was one of our first street documentary footage shoots. They did not allow themselves to get into culture war shit at all. These demands have got to completely steer clear of that. We don't get bogged down in those things. Very clear economic, labor, anti-military demands that every person on the left should be able to agree on.
Right, exactly.
The rest of that shit, later. Okay? Later. We'll talk about it later. So my note for you, I think where a lot of people misunderstand you, which I think is, what you're responding to. You want to see the destruction of the imperial United States, not the destruction of the United States.
I mean, I think I'm pretty clear on that point. I don't think I leave too much room for misunderstanding.
Well, you've been doing this long enough to know
Yep.
how easy it is to be misunderstood.
Yeah, no, but I mean that's what I've always said. Yeah, I mean that's what I said. I said the country is not going to function as it is. I mean, I said that last time. I said, when did Britain pass their NHS? It wasn't until they folded their empire.
Right.
That was after World War II, right? And so yeah, that's what it has to be. That's just what it has to be. And guys like that, he says, I'll cripple you. Meaning, look, I have seen this work before. I know how to make it work again. And that's what I'm going to do. Or you could make us a fair offer. And we don't have to do any of this. We don't have to do any of this. But if you push us, yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. That's exactly what we'll do. And to be doing this a month before the first week of November, when the country votes for president, that gives you maximum leverage.
Right.
You know?
And look, something that definitely occurred to me, today I went to I did the African American Museum. And hey, man, we've forgotten how to really struggle. We've forgotten how to really protest. Look what those people went through. Look what those people went through. Like, look at what they were willing to do. These fucking people are getting attacked by dogs and sheriffs, and killed and hung and burned, and they're still going out there and marching, and we can't go out and shut down Goldman Sachs. We have it a lot easier than they did, and look what they were able to accomplish. As is so often the case, you look to the civil rights movement, it's a real model of organization and protest. It was never done better, and it was never done with more courage and determination. And if you need inspiration to see people triumph over what seemed at the time like something that could never be changed, that's something to look to if you feel despair. Like, oh, we can't do this. If they did that, anything's possible.
Yep.